Hello everyone, this is your Unified Ascension Angelic Master Healer, and I'd like to thank everybody again for subscribing and comments and questions that you may have. It's fantastic that everybody's connecting with themselves, which is tremendous. And the kinetic energies are great, the force is really good within and without. So today I'd like to talk a little bit further on what we call a REM sleep. So a REM sleep is basically when you're sleeping, you don't realize that your mind is open. When your mind is open, you are connected through its higher self. Now there are questions like, okay, how do I get there? How do we get to the Galactic Federation? Well, it's a process that goes over time. So first off, you have to know the heart. You have to know the heart, the sacred heart, the loving heart, the sacred soul, the definitive soul, the sacred self. Once you know your heart and its recognition through its soul, then you get a better understanding of the selfless soul and its higher self. So it's basically understanding who you are. You are the higher self now. You are no longer who you think you are or who you think you were. You are the higher self. You are in the Galactic Federation. So that process takes a long time. Okay, so each video I will give you step-to-step procedures on what you need to do to get there. So first off, about the REM sleep, which is very important. When we're sleeping, our mind is completely open because we are kinetic through the energy force and the energy core as the higher self is working in space. Space Continuum. It's collecting its thoughts through the collectiveness, which is extremely important. But when you're going to a higher vibration of harmonics, you have to connect with your power source, the strength within, your definitive angel, your archangel, your guard angel, your earth angel, anything that you have your connection through the divine self. You have to use that for protection every time you go up to a higher dimension. It's so important that you understand what dimensions are every time you go higher and higher and higher. And the higher you go, the more information you get from the collective through the sacred heart and the sacred mind. Then you get to understand its universe and its planets and its atmosphere and humanity and its solar system. You get to understand what line formation is, what shapes are, and a true understanding of its vocation grids, energy grids, the matrix. The matrix, in my last video was incredible. Everything is line formation. Now, what you see in reality is a totally different reality. It's in the galactic system through the eye perception. Remember how I had the 10 docils of light? Well, that's transferring information through the collective. And I'm seeing shapes and line formations. So I'm using those electric grids, okay, which is the matrix circle and its connection through its force. So that force gives me the continuum of space continuum through the higher self and the acceleration speed that I need. So each time you go into dimension, like I said before, it's very important. The higher you go, the more protection you need. Okay? So you use your archangels. Anything that you have within, you use that as a kinetic force. So you're protected. You, your definitive self, your higher self, and your light. It's most important to keep your sacred light protected because you don't want to, if you don't use the protection grid through your archangel, what happens is you become into an interface, and you don't want that because it's self-involvement and it will go to the negative side. And the collective will see that through its transformation and its lights formations. So it's very important to keep the positive aspect of what's happening with your higher self as you go into a higher dimension. And again, it's a process. That's all it is. It's a process of continuous force. As you're transferring light formations, you're understanding how, the force works within and without. I also too said in my other video where the force comes in and the force comes out. That is the matrix circle. That is the connection through the heart circle and the heart chakra. This goes out to the any health practitioners, any Reiki masters, advanced souls, light workers, light beings, rainbow work heroes, pixies, fairies. Anybody that has a connection through its higher self, understands its higher self, and knows exactly what to do. So each time you go through a dimension, use that protection energy grid. Okay? Because that is a tremendous force. And never take advantage of that. And when you're in that higher self and you're sleeping and you want to come back down on earth, okay, you have to let the higher self know what's going on. Okay, so you say, okay, I like to go back down on earth. So you tell the higher self that, and then you tell if you're in the Galactic Federation, you talk to your collective family and you say, okay, I like to go down now through the protection of its white light. And from there, you go back down to your definitive energy source, your protection grid, which is your archangel or your angel or your earth angel or your guard angel, any angel that you have, and then you thank them very much. Everybody has their own kinetic energy through the heart chakra. So it's extremely important to complement every single time when you're in a REM sleep. Because if you wake up from a REM sleep and you don't do all that, what happens is everything that is kinetic through its energy force, as the higher self sees what's going on, because believe it or not, the higher self is so connected to you. It is so real. So real. So make sure when you wake up from a REM sleep, you do all that kinetic energy through its force and its light formations. It's extremely important. Don't wake up from a REM sleep and not do all that. Because if you don't do that, it's going to go to the negative side. And then you got to recorrect the whole system and do it all over again. So it's following up, going forward, because the higher self doesn't think, it knows, and it goes forward. Okay? You have to understand that. You have to vocalize that. You have to see that. You have to be that. I am that now. That's who I am. That's who I've become. Everything has its connection through the higher self as you're living in the dimensional realm. So you're living a whole new population as a higher self. When you're dreaming, when you're in your REM sleep, when you're vortexing, time warping, time jump. I just came out of a wormhole through definitive space continuum and its plasma force. I went extremely high today because I was going through the 5th dimensions of kingdoms, and that has an extremely kinetic force. So the collective wants me to know these things so I can get ready for its new earth. So, I hope that helps you out a little bit more on what you need to do with the higher self. I will keep sending out videos and all that. But as of now, you have to realize what's going on with the higher self. and you get a better perspective through the heart chakra. Okay, so again, thank you so much for the subscribing. I really appreciate it. I love you guys very much. And I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.